Hello all, I'm Rajesh with my channel Rajenomics once again. I'm coming in front of you after a very long time due to some personal reason I was away from it. So this is my 14th lecture in the series of microeconomics. Please watch my previous 13 lectures which talks about various issues of microeconomics such as GDP, nominal and real GDP, exclusions from GDP, so on and so forth. So today I am here to deliver a lecture on public debt, which is one of the very important issues in fiscal policy. And what is fiscal policy? As the word fisc suggests, it relates to purse or money. So fiscal policy is all about public expenditure and public revenue. Just as you as an individual want to increase your income and control your expenditure, similarly government at the micro level wants to control its expenditure and increase its revenue. That is what comes under fiscal policy. Fisc stands for purse. So, among various issues, there are many issues under fiscal policy. One issue is the public debt, which refers to the debt taken by the government for financing various activities. So, debt can be internal debt. The debt taken by the government can be internal debt, which refers to debt taken within the country such as treasury bills, so on and so forth. And external debt, which is taken from foreign governments or from international financial institutions such as World Bank and IMF. So public debt, when it becomes huge, becomes a cause of concern. Of course, debt is taken for financing the development activities, but what if public debt becomes very huge? Then it is a matter of concern. Right now, it is, because the debt to GDP ratio is 83% in India. The debt to GDP ratio is 83% in India, and the average debt to GDP ratio among the emerging economies is 70%. So in case of India, the debt to GDP ratio is very high. That apart, the total public debt in 2020 was somewhere around, according to the estimates given in various articles, 86 lakhs crore in 2020, which is likely to increase to 181 lakh crore in 2025. So from 86 lakh crore in 2020, the likely increase in public debt is 181 lakh crore in 2025 expected to be. So this is certainly a major cause of concern. So what is, and moreover, out of its total revenue, the government spends about 40% in financing its debt or in servicing its debt. Rather, I use the word servicing the debt. That means paying the interest on it. So what are the disadvantages of a high public debt? One of the disadvantages, then the government is left with little money for capex, that is capital expenditure, that is expenditure on infrastructure projects. That apart, it increases the interest rate burden. Interest rates become high, and that crowds out the private investment. Crowding out of private investment is something very much talked about in the realm of fiscal policy. Crowding out of private investment. That means if the interest rates become very high, the private sector cannot invest much. The private sector investment gets crowded out, and you want private sector to play a very important role in investment. But if high interest rates deters the private sector from investing, then you say private investment has got crowded out. That is another fallout of a huge public debt. So, for many years, certain things are being suggested as to how to manage the public debt, how to reduce the debt burden. The Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, FRBM, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, set a target of 3% fiscal deficit. FRBM said our fiscal deficit target should be 3%, but this goal is still elusive. We have not been able to rein our fiscal deficit, which in very layman's language would mean excess of public expenditure over revenue. So we have not been able to rein in the fiscal deficit, so that is necessary. We have to increase or broaden our tax base. One of the measures that is being suggested is, why can't we tax agriculture income? Of course, this is a very politically sensitive issue and a hot potato to handle, but it is being suggested that when there are about 8 lakh lands which are more than 17 hectares, so why can't agriculture income be taxed, at least the income in the hands of rich farmers? That is one thing. And what more, the revenues have to be, what else has to be done to make the revenues robust, keep on broadening the tax base, that is what they suggest. But still, public debt, yes, it's a cause of concern and it needs public attention of the policy makers. Thank you. Please subscribe and like my channel Rajenomics. I will be with you again after some time. Thanks a lot.